Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello learners, I welcome you to this course of microeconomics and its applications. I am the course coordinator Dr. Aparna Samudra, as well as I am going to present this lecture to you. I belong to Rashtrasant Tukadoji Maharaj, Nagpur University, and I will be taking you to this journey of understanding the various concepts of microeconomics. In today's first lecture of this course, let us just have a look as to what we are going to understand. So the first learning objective of today's lecture would be to understand the concept and scarcity and choice. That is, what do we mean by scarcity and what is actually choice? And after that, we'll know the meaning of opportunity cost. Also, we will understand and derive the production possibility curve. So let us start with today's lecture, keeping these learning objectives in mind. Learners, whenever we hear the term economics, across the society, across people, the first thing which comes in everybody's mind is that economics is related to money. But is it really related to money? Let us understand this first. We all know that the resources are scarce. All of us feel sometime or the other that we want something, but then we realize that we have limited amount of the resource to fulfill that need or want. So resources may be land, resources may be labor, resources may be the money which we hand, resources may be the time, resources may be the location of something. Even oxygen or clean air today is scarce. So there is resources are scarce. Since the resources are scarce, all of us, everybody around the world, whichever type of economy they belong to, whether it is a rich economy, whether it is an underdeveloped economy, whether it is a developing economy, everybody has to make a choice. That is, they face trade-offs. What do we mean by trade-offs? Trade-offs means in order to get one, you may be asked to give up another. You cannot have both together. So there is a trade-off. You must have heard of that proverb, you cannot have your cake and eat it too. Means it is not possible that you keep your cake as well as eat it. You have to give up one in order to take another. Why does this happen? Because essentially the resources are scarce. Now, as I just told you, the real limit in terms of any society is the scarcity of productive resources. That is, because in order to produce something, in order to fulfill the wants of the people, we need that the resources are available in abundance. That is, particularly those resources which we are going to use for the purpose of production. I assume and I'm sure many of you must be knowing that what are the various factors of production. The four basic factors of production that we talk about are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. Now all these factors of production which are productive, there is a limit to their availability. Hence we say that there is scarcity of these productive resources. Now since there is a scarcity or there is a mismatch between what we want and what we have, this scarcity leads to society facing a situation where for their unlimited wants, they face these limited resources. That is, all of us, everybody in this society, whatever strata we belong to, our wants are always unlimited. That is, we achieve something, we consume something, later on we want another thing, or maybe we want more of the same thing. So by human nature, by our basic human nature, our wants are unlimited. After achieving one goal, we wish to achieve another goal. Means our resources are limited, but what we see is that the wants are unlimited. Now, because of this, we say, if we formally want to define scarcity, we say scarcity is something where limited amount of resources are available to meet the unlimited wants and needs. Please understand these two. Please pay attention on these two terms, limited and unlimited. Two opposites coming in the same sentence. That is, scarcity is something where for limited amount of resources, and these limited amount of resources are going to be used to meet the unlimited wants and needs of the society. And if we want to understand economics, we need to see that economics is a study of people's choices under the conditions of scarcity. That is, it is acceptable that there is a scarcity of resources. It is also accepted that people have unlimited wants. So how do people make choices? How do they choose that with this limited resource and how do I satisfy my wants? So to achieve your desired means, when you use these limited resources and the study of the choices of people or the society or the government is the study of economics. So economics, my dear friends, is not related only to money. Why? Because money is also a resource which is scarce in nature. So whenever we are talking about economics, we are talking about the study of the people's choices under the conditions of scarcity. And we have already seen that why this scarcity arises. Now, at the heart of economics, these three concepts are there which leads to all the models and all the policies which are formulated. What are these three concepts? One is scarcity, second is trade-offs or the choices, and third is the opportunity cost. Scarcity, we have seen, is why it happens because the wants of the society or the people are unlimited, whereas the productive resources availability is limited. So, to meet those unlimited needs, people need to make choices so that those limited resources which are scarce, they are used to fulfill whatever my objectives are. So whenever we are making a choice, that is in order to get one, I am leaving another. We get to this concept of opportunity cost. As my dear friends, this term may be giving you some idea. Opportunity and cost. Opportunity is what? You have chosen one over another. Because you have chosen one over another, you have lost the opportunity to utilize or to get satisfaction by consumption of that particular good or a service. So you have lost that satisfaction because you have not chosen to take up something else. And because of that, losing that satisfaction, the cost involved is called as opportunity cost. So if we have to define opportunity cost, we say it is the value of the best alternative foregone. That is, you had you had two, three available choices to you. You could choose only one, and whatever you have chosen, for example, I'm giving you a choice. For example, you have half an hour with you. So you either can go through this lecture, see this lecture, understand the concepts, or you can go for take a good nap. You can go for a sleep. You choose to come here, understand the concepts of economics. So the satisfaction which you may have got by sleeping is foregone. So the cost of or the job, because you have foregone that satisfaction of not sleeping, will be called as opportunity cost. So the best alternative which you forego in order to choose something, that is called as opportunity cost. These examples will make it clear to you as to what is opportunity cost. So we have just said that because of scarcity, it's all about making choices. Choices means that you need to give up something. You have to make a choice whether you should eat an ice cream or you should eat a samosa. You pick up to eat an ice cream. So you have chosen ice cream over your samosa. So choice involved giving up samosa to have a ice cream. So let us see some examples to make the concept of opportunity cost clear to you. For example, a farmer decides to grow corn instead of tomatoes. In a small field that he has a choice either to grow corn or grow tomatoes. He chooses. He cannot grow both in the small piece of farm. So he chooses to grow corn. Because he chooses to grow corn, he has given up to grow tomatoes. So his opportunity cost is the tomatoes he could have grown. So in order to choose one, he has given up another. Another example we can take. A girl decides to babysit instead of going roller skating with her friends. She decides to go and look after a small baby instead of going out roller skating with her friends. So what has she given up? She has given up the enjoyment or the time she would have spent with her friends roller skating. So that's her opportunity cost. Another example. A father decides to watch his son's soccer game instead of earning some extra money fixing neighbor's computer. That is, a father decides, let me spend time watching the football game of my son instead of going to his neighbor and fixing his computer and earning something. So what would be his opportunity cost? His opportunity cost is the money he could have earned by fixing the computer. So since it's all about making choices, in order to get one, you have to forego something. So the cost, notional cost of course it is, you will not get it in your books of accounts. So this notional cost of forgiving the next best alternative is called as opportunity cost. Why it is important to understand opportunity cost is because then only we will be able to comment whether your resources have been used or have been used effectively or not. It is very important to know that. Why? Because resources are scarce. So if we are not putting them to the best possible use, we are not doing justice to those available resources. Therefore, it is important to understand the concept of opportunity cost. Now let us do a quick test of the opportunity cost we have understood. So learners, please pay attention to this question. What does this question say? It says that an individual decides to pay 8 rupees to see a movie instead of buying a 8 rupee meal. So he had, what is scarce here? What is his resource here? His resource is rupees 8 which he has in his pocket. So that 8 rupees he can either use to buy a movie ticket or he can use it to buy a meal for himself. So my question to you is that what is the opportunity cost of the movie? I'll give you certain options. First, A option is that the satisfaction missed by not eating the meal. Second, rupees 8 paid to see the movie. C, the time spent watching the movie. D, the satisfaction received by going to the movie. The question is that an individual who has limited resource of rupees 8, he had two choices, two options before him. The first was to see a movie or second was to buy a meal. He has decided to buy a movie ticket by spending rupees 8. So my question to you learners is that what is the opportunity cost of the movie? Is it A, the satisfaction missed by not eating the meal? B, rupees 8 which he has paid to see this movie? C, the time which he is spending watching the movie? Or D, the satisfaction which he would have received by going to the movie? So I'm sure you must have answered by now. So the correct answer is A. Why? Because the other option was buying a meal which he has foregone. That was the next best alternative of this 8 rupees. So that's your opportunity cost. So one thing is clear, learners, that we have a problem. What is the problem? The problem is of economizing the resources that we have. That's called as the economizing problem. Why? Because the resources are scarce. Because of the scarcity of resources, we are making choices in order to fulfill our unlimited needs. So, as we just said earlier, society has unlimited wants, but the resources are limited. So, this picture, very popular picture which you all come across, gives you an excellent graphical view of the problem which we are talking about. That is, resources are limited. There is only one resource, and this resource is going to cater to all the population, to all the people's unlimited wants. So we have to make a choice. Now, the problem which we have just seen with the examples of growing corn or tomato, watching his son's football match, or fixing neighbor's computer and earning money, babysitting, or going out with friends roller skating. Those are examples which you have taken at a very, very micro level, at an individual level. But learners, you have to appreciate this fact that the problem of scarcity is not limited only to an individual. The societies, the countries, the economies, they also face the problem of scarcity. So resources at an aggregate level are also scarce. And the governments have to take care that these resources are allocated for the best possible use. That is, we do the efficient utilization of the resources in the production of those things which the society wants. So that gives rise to the three basic problems of economics which we talk about. That is, what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. And that problem we solve by using the concept of the production possibilities curve, PPC, production possibilities curve. Name is self-explanatory. That is, this curve is going to tell you that what production is possible with the given resources. So let us understand this concept. This is a model that shows the alternative ways that an economy can use its scarce resources. That is, how the scarce resources of the economy can be used in different ways. What can be the available combination of the goods which can be made available to the economy? This model is a graphical model and it demonstrates the scarcity, trade-offs, and opportunity cost and efficiency. So everything in this production possibility curve which we will draw will explain the concept of scarcity. It will also show us the choices. We will also be able to calculate the opportunity cost, as well as we will also be able to comment whether these resources are being used efficiently or not. PPC is based on four key assumptions. First, only two goods can be produced. Because we are taking a two-axis model, we are assuming that an economy will be able to produce only two goods. Second, All the resources which are available will be fully employed. Third, resources are fixed for a certain period of time. That is, all the resources which are available, there is no increase in the quantity of resources. Fourth, the technology is fixed. That is, we are not talking about a situation right now where there is any technical progress. So keeping these in mind, let us draw a production possibility curve. So let us say we have two goods available, two goods to be produced, bikes and computers. With the available resources, with the available technology, you have various options of producing bikes and computers. So all these points, the 5 points which we are seeing, are showing you various combinations of these two goods which can be produced. For example, the first combination A is telling us that we can either produce 14 bikes or we can produce 0 computers. That is, when you're producing 14 bikes, you are not producing any computer. B, you are reducing your bikes, but you are increasing the number of computers which are being produced. And likewise, each point, as I told you, it represents a specific combination of goods that can be produced and assuming that all resources are fully employed. So let us learners plot it on a graph. I suggest you have to do it along with us. Just take down this table and we'll see that how this production possibility curve is derived. Now we have taken, as I told you, bikes and computers on the two axes and various quantities of bikes and computers being shown on the x-axis and the y-axis. So we draw these points. For example, the first point was said that we are producing 14 units of bikes and 0 units of computers, and so on. So all the 5 combinations which we have seen in your production possibility table are plotted here. When we join these points, we get a curve like this. This curve is called as your production possibility curve. That is, it is showing that with the available resources, if the economy wants to produce computers as well as bikes, how much of each can be produced? Okay, so this graphically demonstrates. Now, the question is that how your production possibility graph or curve demonstrates scarcity, trade-offs, opportunity cost and efficiency. All the points which are lying on this curve means all the resources which you had in the economy are being effectively, efficiently used and everybody is getting employment. Whereas any point which lies below on your PPC, which lies inside your production possibility curve, is showing inefficiency. Why? Because you have a potential to produce more, but we are not producing more. Whereas a point which is lying outside, for example, this point G, which is beyond your production possibility, shows that your goods, this is something which is impossible or unattainable right now. It may be desirable that we produce more of both, but with the given resources, we are unable to produce both. So, we see that all the points which are on this PPC are efficient. Points outside to drawing to the right of your PPC are impossible or unattainable. Points which are lying inside are inefficient, showing the inefficiencies in your economy. So, by your PPC, you can judge whether the economy is being efficient or not. And as I just told you, that your PPC also talks about, or it can also help you to find the opportunity cost. You've just seen what is opportunity cost. That is, in order to take one, you have to forego another. So your PPC at a macro level, also talks about the opportunity cost when we are moving from one point on the curve to another point on the curve. So I've given you these 5 situations where I ask you to find the opportunity cost if you move from point A to B, from B to D, from D to B, or from F to C, that is from an inefficient point to an efficient point, or what about the point G? So the first question is, if example I'm talking about is the opportunity cost if you are moving from point A to point B. It would be 2 bikes. Why? Because when you are at point A, you are producing 0 units of computer and 14 units of bikes. You go to point B. How much are you producing? You are producing 12 bikes and 2 computers. This means in order to take 2 computers, how many bikes have you sacrificed? You have sacrificed 2 bikes. Why? Because you wanted more of computers. So with the given resources, you had to reduce the number of bikes. So the answer is 2 bikes. Then what is the opportunity cost of moving from B to D? That is when you are moving from point B where you are producing 12 bikes. At point D, you are producing 5 bikes. So how many bikes have you reduced? 7 bikes. Similar is with respect if you go back from D to B. So at D, you are producing 6 computers. But at B, you are producing 2 computers. This means you have reduced production of how many computers? 4 computers. And similar from F to G, F to C, and then G. G we say is unattainable. Why is it unattainable? Because it is beyond your production possibility curve. Something which you desire, but you may not be able to get. So your PPC also helps you to calculate the opportunity cost. So this is what we call as your production possibility curve or frontier, which gives an economy how much of 2 goods can be produced with all the available resources. And once you find out your production possibility curve, you will be able to comment on whether your resources right now are being used efficiently or not. Also, you will be able to know that if I shift from one point on PPC to another point on PPC, then how much of what I have to forego. So that will help you to understand the opportunity cost. Now, this is a small exercise which I am giving to you to students for which you have to find out the opportunity cost for various points. So, we have taken 2 examples. You have calzones and pizza. Okay, these are the various combinations of calzones and pizza, that is from A, B, C, D, E, which you can consume. So I ask you to find the opportunity cost if you move from point A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to E. So what you will find is that your opportunity cost will remain constant. Why? Because if you are moving from point A to point B, you are reducing 1 unit of calzone, but simultaneously you are increasing 1 unit of pizza. So 1 reduction in calzone leads to 1 unit increase in pizza. If you go from B to C, 3 units of calzone you were consuming at B. How much are you consuming at C? 2. How much has it reduced? 1 unit. And how much of pizza has increased? 1 to 2 means 1 unit. So for giving up 1 calzone, you are having 1 extra pizza. Similar from C to D. Similar from D to E. This means that the opportunity cost remains constant in this case. That is, for 1 extra pizza, you are sacrificing 1 calzone all through your PPC. This is a situation of what we call as constant opportunity cost. See this example again and you will be able to understand that for every extra pizza, I am sacrificing 1 calzone. So 1 calzone reduction leads to 1 increase in pizza. This is called as constant opportunity cost. That is, throughout your answer remains the same. Why does this happen? This happens because the resources which are used to produce calzone are completely adaptable to produce pizza. Their efficiency, their specialization, their abilities remain the same whether they produce calzone or they produce pizza. Therefore, in such a case, your production possibility curve will be a straight line. It will be a straight line. But it is not very common to find a straight line production possibility curve. Why will this happen? Think. This is a question which I leave to you. Another example. Let us say again, the economy is producing pizza and it is producing robots. So two things are being produced, pizza and robots. We are seeing 5 different combinations of pizza and robots being produced. Do you see some difference in this and the previous example which we had taken? Again, I ask you to find the opportunity cost if we move from A to B, from B to C, from C to D and D to E. What is happening, learners, here? Let us say from A to B. Earlier at point A, you are producing 20 units of pizza. Now how much are you producing at point B? 19 units. So you have given up one pizza, but in turn you have got one robot. Go from point B to point C. What happens there? At B, we are producing 19 units of pizza, and at C, we are producing 16 units of pizza. What is the reduction in number of pizzas? 19 minus 16? 3 units. And how many robots are we changing if we move from point B to C? 1 to 2 means 1 extra robot. So earlier from point A to point B, you were giving up one pizza to get one extra robot. But when you move from point B to point C, you have to give 3 pizzas to get one extra robot. If you go from point C to D, how much pizzas are we giving up? 6. 16 minus 10. But how many extra robots are we getting? 1. So this means that we see an increasing opportunity cost. That is, every time I want more of robot, one extra robot is demanding more and more resources from your pizza. Why? Because resources are not easily adaptable to produce both goods similarly. Resources which are being used to make pizza may not be competent enough in a similar manner to produce robots. That is what is called as increasing opportunity cost. That is, every time I am sacrificing my pizza to get robots, that number of units of sacrifice is increasing. Therefore, the production possibility curve is concave in such a situation. It is bowed out, as we have seen. So, your production possibility curve can be a straight line or it can be bowed out. It will be bowed out in case of a increasing opportunity cost. Now, let us quickly see that does the production possibility curve shifts or it remains the same. If it shifts, what makes it shift? We have talked about 4 types of assumptions when we explained or started the concept of PPC. What were they? Only 2 goods can be produced. All resources are fully employed. Fixed resources, that is 4 factors of production, and fixed technology. What if these change? What if there is a change in any of these? That would lead to the shift in the production possibility curve. So if any of the 4 assumptions which we had taken, if they change, it will lead to the shift in the production possibility curve. What are these 3 shifters? 1. Change in the resource quantity or quality. That is, the number of resources which we had earlier if there is a change in the number of those resources or if there is a change in the quality of that resource. There will be a shift in the PPC. Second, if there is a change in technology, technical progress takes place, or if there is a change in trade, that we start trading with other nations of the world. So these three will lead to the shift in production possibility curve. Let us see this. Again, we are taking, let us say, the pizza and robots example which we are seeing, and the economy has increasing opportunity cost, because of which your PPC is concave. It is bowed out. If there is an increase in population, that is, the number of resources which we had, they have increased. We have more people available labor force. This would mean that with more people in hand, we will be able to produce more, and hence we see your production possibility curve shifting outside. Another reason, if there is a technology which increases the productivity of pizza ovens, what will happen? Again, you will see a shift, but this shift will only be on the axis where pizza are being produced. So we will be able to produce more of pizzas because the production of pizza will become more, it will improve because technology has made pizza ovens more productive. So you see a shift again. Then let us just summarize that what leads or what we have understood in this lecture. We have said that scarcity arises because resources are limited but our wants are unlimited. Because there is scarcity of resources, we have to make a choice, and what we forego in order to give and take another is measured by opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is the cost of next best alternative. And this opportunity cost gives rise to called as production possibility curve, which shows the maximum production capabilities of an economy with the given resources. So at the heart of economics, three things are there: scarcity, choices, and opportunity cost. So whether it is individual or whether it is the society, we are all talking about making choices so that we meet our desired ends. And production possibility curve is an excellent method which helps us to understand that what is being produced and whether it is being produced efficiently or not. So learners, this is the starting of our journey of microeconomics. And I hope you must have enjoyed this lecture. Thank you.